what are the different types of passages you will be getting. The first one is factual, the second one is the discursive passage you are going to get for note making. As you read the passage, please underline the key points. Then notes should be in points. Independent clauses are those sentences which give you complete meaning. Dependent clauses are those which don't give you complete meaning. Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to all the young minds of class 11 CBSE. I am Dr. Shalini here, your English teacher at Prep School. Today we are here to understand one of the writing skill topics, that is note making. Let us see what is there in today's session. This is a very interesting session, so concentrate more to avoid doubts. So we'll be understanding the meaning of the note making and the types of passages. Then we'll understand the types of questions that are going to be given to you in the question paper. Then what are the few tips to make good note making as well as summarizing? Then what are the uses of abbreviations in the note making? So let us start by understanding the meaning of note making. So note making is actually an advanced writing skill. So this helps anybody to remember at least one important point for any given subject. Okay, at least one important point that person can remember when he just reads the note. It also is a combination of many skills, so it is actually a complex activity. So as I tell you the process of note making, you will understand why it is called as a complex activity and what are the skills that are involved in this activity. So as I said, it's a combination of many skills. So what are the skills you will be able to understand very soon by seeing at the coming slides. It also saves time and energy as well as space. So note making, you are going to reduce it to almost 1/3 of what the passage is. So note making saves energy, saves time as well as saves space. It also enhances the confidence of the reader, and it also revises, and the person who is doing this note making can also revise the topic whenever he wants. So this is the total meaning of note making. However, there will be no question on what is the meaning of note making. Whatever questions will be given are basically practical usage. The practical application type of questions will be given to you. So let us move on to the next topic, that is what are the different types of passages you will be getting. The first one is factual. The second one is the discursive passage you are going to get for note making. So what is a factual passage? This revolves around only one topic. So this topic, passage actually gives more clarification based on one topic. Okay, so this gives you clarification. Suppose you have a topic from probably history or anything. So what are the facts that are related to that? Only that will be given. So factual is more or less some facts that are related to that topic only will be given. They don't change the topic. So whatever the topic is given on top, all the paras will be related to that only. Whereas discursive passage, it is the opposite. It has more topics. Okay, it does not revolve around only one topic. It has more topics. So para to para the topics may change. There are various information that is given to you in this discursive passage. So it does not involve any fact. It is only a passage, just a passage written randomly. So that is called as a discursive passage. So that is the difference between the factual and the discursive passage. So now let us move on to the next one, that is the type of questions that will be coming to you. So you will be asked to write, you will be asked to make a note and also to summarize. So both of these come together. So you need to make a note of whatever passage you are reading and also you have to make a summary of it, wherein the summary will be 1/3 of the actual passage. Fine. They are going to check note making also, they are going to check passage also, that is the summary also. So how much marks do you think you can expect from this? So this carries almost 8 marks and this is actually 200 to 250 words in length. That means the actual passage that will be given to you in the question paper will have almost 200 to 250 words and this carries 8 marks. Fine. So first thing is making notes of the given passage, that will carry 5 marks. So how is the breakup of this marks? The actual notes means whatever important points you make a note and the subheadings what you make, so everything, fine, all that come up to 2 marks. Then giving a title for it, you are also expected to give a title for this passage whatever you are making, so that will involve only 1 mark. Then the numbering and indenting, you give a heading 1 number and subheadings some decimal number like 1, 1.1. So this way whenever you're giving actual numbers like this and subheadings like this, and indenting also will go on. Okay, 1.1.1. So the spacing what you give over here, this is called as indenting. So all these also carry marks for that, that is for 1 mark. Okay, so all these indenting, numbering and all, everything they will check, that will carry 1 mark. And if at all you need to give some meaning for something, that also will carry 1 mark. So altogether it goes up to 5 marks. So this is all related to note making. So after you make a note of it, you are supposed to make a summary also. You are supposed to write a summary also. So that summary carries 3 marks. So summary writing will be for 3 marks. And what does summary writing involve? How is the breakup? The word limit is actually 50 words. Fine. That means you need to reduce this to almost 1/3 of what you have read. The actual passage should be reduced to 1/3 of the length. Then the content, the actual content, that is the important things what you involve. How can you consider that as important? So all these they'll be checking and that will be awarded 2 marks. And the expression means you can frame your own sentences. You need not have to pick sentences from the actual passage only. So that involves 1 mark again. Okay, so how you express that in that summary making, and that involves 1 mark. Fine. So the actual content, that means the important points that you have included, and next the expression means how you make your own sentences and summarize it to 1/3 of it. So that carries 3 marks. They together carry 8 marks. Okay, so this is the type of question you can expect. Okay, so now we are going to see some tips that are related to very good note making and summarizing. So the first tip being, read the passage quickly, understand the main points and supporting details. Now, you have to read the passage very quickly because you are not supposed to spend more than 5 to 10 minutes for this note making. Okay, you make the notes as early as possible, then you can give more time and it can be an effective question for the other questions at least. Okay, you can answer the other questions effectively. Fine. So you need to read the passage very quickly first. In order to read the passage very quickly, from now on, you need to practice a lot to read the passage. Okay, so you still have enough time to do this practice. Maybe one passage a day will help you a lot. Fine. Then you can reduce it to one passage a week. So that way. Fine. So start practicing from now only. Practice reading the passage very quickly and you need to understand the main points. So you should be able to judge which is the proper, which is the very important point that is given over there. Fine. Suppose I'm talking about a factual passage and I'm talking about some passage which has details about Mayan civilization. We are going to have some examples in the class as well. I'm saying information about Mayan civilization. So you should be able to decide which is an important point, which is not an important point. Okay, suppose there is some important point about the lifestyle or somebody who has discovered or anything like that. Maybe the point related to lifestyle may not be as important as that when compared to the discovery of the civilization. So you should be able to compare and judge which is the important point and you need to make a note of it. So as you read the passage, you need to underline few things. So what are the few things you need to underline? The keywords, using which you will be able to remember what is there in the passage. Okay, so this note making, if you start practicing from now on, when you are preparing for answering the questions, so long answers and all, if you start practicing note making for the long answers, that will help you a lot in preparing for exam also. So the key points you need to remember as you read the passage, please underline the key points. Then notes should be in points. The notes always should be in points and in appropriate format. So there is a format where the note making has to be made. So you have to follow the appropriate format and please make sure it is in points. Please do not write complete sentences. It has to be in points. So organize your ideas into main heading, subheading and subheadings. Okay, suppose I'll be giving you examples when we come to class. Okay, so I'm just giving you one example over here. Suppose there is an example about say kite flying. So kite flying, there is a lot of history given there. In the first para, there will be rituals related to kite flying. Means what was the myth about the kite flying and all the mythology you can just write. Then in second para, probably something about modern usage of kite will be there. And in the third paragraph, they have given about the discovery of kites and all. So this way, there are probably 5 stanzas you can consider. So first para, what do they have? They have the myth involved with kite flying. So for that, you can give a heading there. Okay, so suppose you are giving 1 as the heading. Fine, so you can write it as myth related or mythology of kite flying. Okay, so you write it like this. Then go to subheading. As you can see here, you have subheading and subheading also. Okay, so just leave some gap. Mythology of kite flying, just leave some gap. You can organize the subheading later, or you can write the second point and then come back to it to give the subheadings. Okay, this is one way of doing it. So second para, as I said, they spoke about the modern usage of kite. So you can just write that also. Modern usage of kite. Okay, so you specify like this. Then all the third para, fourth para, fifth para, you just write it. Okay, after that you come back for this subheading. Okay, so when you come to this mythology of kite flying, suppose they have spoken about, actually the kite flying, no, it started with the Chinese mythology. Okay, so what did the Chinese believe, what did the Tibetans believe? So kite flying is something more related to this one, the Chinese and the Tibetans. So what was the myth involved in the Chinese culture? So here you can say 1.1, and then you can give the mythology involved with Chinese. Okay, so belief of Chinese. Okay, so this is one. Then we have next, suppose they have spoken about belief of Tibetans. So you'll copy that only and Tibetans. So this way you give lot of subheadings. So if at all you want 1.1, 1.2, so this way you write, and again if you want to still elaborate it, you can do it, but this is acceptable. Okay, so heading and subheading is fine. If you still have a little more to do about it, like suppose there are 2 paras that is related to the mythology of kite flying involved, then you can say under 1 you can write 1.1, and that second para related to that mythology can be put as 1.1.1. Fine. So this is actually very easy for you. If you are giving one heading and one subheading, that is enough, because it is easy for you also. You will not lose marks. Okay. So try making it less complex, so it is very easy for you to fetch marks. Fine. So this is one example I gave you. So you need to organize that to ideas and subheadings, as well as subheadings also can be organized. Then what else we need to follow? Some abbreviations to be used. Abbreviations and symbols can be used over here. So abbreviations are short forms. I'll give you examples of abbreviations in the next slide. Okay, so short forms also can be written. Suppose you don't have time to write the whole sentence, you can write it in short form. Okay, so then give a title, avoid long sentence. So please avoid long sentences, avoid independent clauses, make it into dependent clauses. Okay, independent clauses are those sentences which give you complete meaning. Dependent clauses are those which don't give you complete meaning. So break the sentence, put only how much you can understand. Okay, make it as short as possible. Even if it is not a complete sentence, that is perfectly fine. So please do not take long sentences and complicate the work. Fine. Then give a title. You are supposed to give a title also. They will ask you to give a title also, because title also carries 1 mark. Fine. So you need to give a title also for that. Summary should not exceed 1/3 of the length of actual passage. So after note making, you need to look at the notes and make a summary of what you have written. That means they want to check whether you can understand the note making what you have done. Fine. So looking at the notes what you have made, you need to write a summary of that. So this summary should not be more than 1/3 of the length of the actual passage. Actual passage means whatever is given in the the question paper. Fine. So it should not exceed 1/3 of the length. So it is easy for you to write it. Probably you can reduce it to 50 to 70 words. 50 is acceptable. So please do that. Then summary should contain only the main ideas. Okay. You have this main heading and the subheading, everything. Fine. Only those things should be contained in this summary. Okay. If at all you're writing about kite flying, you are talking about the mythology involved. Fine. Please write only that mythology involved with this one, the Chinese and the Tibetans. After that, you need not have to write anything more, because that is important compared to some other points that are written there. Okay. So consider, you please judge which is important and please write only that is important. Okay. So coming to the next, refer back to the original passage and ensure your summary is appropriate. So after you write the summary, you need to go back to the original passage. Okay, go back to the original passage, compare and check if you have included all the main points. Okay, you need to check if the summary is appropriate. Haven't you included any wrong sentences or wrong facts? You need to observe that. Fine. Yeah, when you check this, when you check the appropriateness of this summary what you have written, probably you might have made a mistake in note making, or you might have mistakenly included some point that is not there in the actual passage. So all that will be avoided. So these are the points you need to keep in mind when you are making a note. Okay. So then some of the abbreviations I'll give you an example. Okay. So as I told you, the abbreviations are acceptable in this note making. So what kind of abbreviation should you make? It can be first few letters. There are two ways in which you can make create an abbreviation. Okay. So that is, the first few letters of any word is enough for you to create the abbreviation. Fine. So this shows what the abbreviation stands. So you need to make a table of what this abbreviation is. So here you can see, for example, you can write IMP for important, or maybe INFO. By this you can understand it is information. Fine. EVAL for evaluation. So that will be contained over here only. Okay. So this way you can include only the first few letters of the word you are abbreviating. Or otherwise you can remove all the vowels. So even if you remove all the vowels, you will be able to understand what the word is. For example, MNGMT. So you remove all the vowels here. So you can get a short form, that is abbreviation. Similarly here, MKT for market. Then again DVPT for development. So this way, even if you remove the vowels, you can just make a combination of other consonants that are there and you can form a word. So after you make these abbreviations, you need to make a table in the end. Okay. For example, you can say what is the abbreviation you have made and the meaning. So what the meaning is. So you need to write that and you have to specify this over there. For example, IMP for important. Okay, so this way you can take these examples which I have given here. So this table has to be made after the note making. All this the table has to be ready. So looking at the table, they'll next go to the summary and read the passage and they will be able to understand it. Okay, so these were the tips in order to make a note making as well as the summary very easy and interesting. Okay, so what I expect from you is watch this video, understand what is note making and summarizing, and you will be able to create a summary as per the questions that is asked for you. Okay, so now what you will do is watch this video, understand, and then go back to practice more on this discursive as well as the factual passages. So more you practice, the lesser time you will take during the exam. So practice one passage a day, that is more than enough, because you have enough time to do. At least you would have ended practicing maybe 50 passages at least. That is more than enough. So let us discuss more about this when we come to the live class. So see you soon. Take care. Thank you for your time. Good luck. Let us meet again with another more interesting session. Keep learning. Bye-bye. See you soon.